Ladies and gentlemen, I have for you what is probably one of the most absurd sounding news stories I've brought to you in a really long time. So a few days ago, I showed you guys some leaked photos in addition to some renders based on some other leaks of what appears to be Google's, their first foray into the world of smartwatches, which will apparently be called the Pixel Watch. They've actually just patented apparently the name, or trademarked maybe is the better word, Pixel Watch. So this is coming, and again, I showed you some leaked images and some renders from the internet's world of this device. Well, today, now on Android Central, they have an exclusive article because apparently this Pixel Watch has leaked in full, and the way that it has leaked in full is absolutely, as I said, absurd. Scroll down here and I will read this to you. A source sent these images to Android Central, said that this Pixel Watch was left and found at a restaurant in the United States. Somehow, just like with, I believe, the iPhone 4, someone has left this watch at a restaurant. Now, when I first read this, I thought to myself, that is particularly stupid, because how do you lose a watch? A watch that is extremely secretive, a watch you cannot lose, right? And it's on your wrist, and you're paying for your ham sandwich, and it just flies off your wrist as you leave. That sounded absolutely insane to me. But if we scroll down to the end of this article, spoilers, we're going to see here that apparently it was in a box, and this is blurred out in some way, but the box apparently indicates this device has not been authorized as required by the blah, 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 blah. So it was in a box. So presumably, if we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt, some Google employees were having lunch with their watch, their secret watch in a box, and maybe they were like lifting the lid and showing each other and talking about it and stuff, and then they left the watch there. That still sounds absolutely absurd to me. Why are you taking the watch to lunch? I don't understand. When it was the iPhone, you could say, oh, well, they were testing the iPhone. It was actually camouflaged. It's covered up a little bit, and then I could see you're eating, your phone's on the table, you walk out and you leave the phone. That makes more sense. There's two ways this happens. One, it's on your wrist and it flies off, or two, it's in a box that you brought to lunch with you. Maybe it's some sort of a business meeting. But again, at a public place, you don't have a room in the office somewhere you could do this. Just sounds absurd to me. To me, this is just another example of Google's sort of weird way of marketing devices where they just purposely, I believe, they leak the information themselves, and then people like me do the advertisement for them, which is basically what I'm doing here. So that's what I think is happening. Whatever. I'm going to show you some of the images in this article, but I would encourage you to actually go to this article yourself, give them a click for their work here, because this is really good stuff and they deserve it. So I'm not going to show you everything here because, again, I want you to go to this article. But here is the Pixel Watch. You've got a rotating crown there, which is something I quite like, but I do hope that the rotating crown on that device actually serves to move the UI around, because some Wear OS watches don't do that for some reason. But it should click, it should act as a button, and it should rotate. Notice how the glass curves all the way around the edge, and you do have a proprietary connector for the watch band, which I don't love, but there it is. If we scroll down, you'll notice a couple of things here. For one, you've got your health tracking sensors there, right? So heart rate, maybe skin temperature, who knows, all sorts of wonderful things like that. But what you're not going to notice are the little pogo connectors for a proprietary charging cable, which leads me to speculate perhaps this is going to charge over standard Qi wireless charging, just like our normal phone would charge. So that would actually be really interesting to me. Maybe there's some sort of magnetic connector that just grabs onto the whole bottom, and I don't know, but maybe it's just a pad. You just drop the thing on. Who knows? Of course, it says here that they didn't have a charger in the box with it. It says here somewhere, and I don't know where it says it anymore, but that's just speculation at that point. You can see here on the side a couple of buttons, which are not quite recessed, but they do look like they're flat against the body. And that's also good to have, because I like having little shortcut keys, right? I like being able to long press one and trigger the Google Assistant, or, whatever health tracking stuff, timers, things like that. Great to have buttons on the side. There's a microphone on the side as well. Of course, Google Assistant, maybe taking phone calls and so forth will be a thing you're going to be doing there. And here are the watch bands, which are very reminiscent of some of the later Apple watch bands, where it's kind of a silicone material. It looks like it can tuck down underneath and through these loops so that you don't have a band sort of like hanging out like that. It should be kind of stowed away. And of course, yes, this is a proprietary connector, which, like I said, I don't love, but whatever, it's what everybody does. And when you have a body that's shaped this weird, it would be kind of odd. You can see on my watch, it has to kind of rise up here to give a spot to connect the non-proprietary connector. On this, it is flush against that very round body, so it's just kind of the price you're going to pay for having a weird shaped watch. Now, of course, this watch is heavily rumored to be running Wear OS 3.1, which is the newest version of Wear OS that is being made sort of in conjunction between Google and Samsung, kind of bringing the best of Tizen, Samsung's old watch OS, and Wear OS, bringing them together. And of course, like I said, the only other watches that run 3.1 are the Samsung watches, and it is rumored that the Pixel Watch will be the next one to be running this. But strangely enough, the watch that's actually here in these images apparently has no OS on it, because trying to boot it up only shows the Google, the G logo there in the middle of the screen and nothing further. Now, luckily enough, if all of this stuff is only just sort of wetting your whistle, but you want more out of this news, well, Google I/O is happening May 11th and May 12th, and it is almost certain that this watch is going to finally be fully unveiled there at that event. Guys, this is a really strange news story. Like I said, what a weird way for a watch to get leaked, but there you go. There are some real life in the world images of the Pixel Watch. I'd love to know what you think about this, how these images have gotten to you in the comments down below. Do you think this is a real accident, or are you like me and you think this was completely an intentional thing done by Google to drum up news interest reports of the Pixel Watch shortly before its actual release? Also, let me know if this is something that you like the looks of, the appearance of. Do you like the aesthetics? Is this something you'd be looking at buying? Guys, let me know all that stuff in the comments down below. I will see you on the next video, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.